two young musicians entered a studio in 1964, chasing a dream and left believing they'd failed. Their album flopped, and the sound of silence vanished without a trace. But a year later, a quiet studio edit turned that forgotten song into a global anthem.
I've come to talk with you again.
Was it luck or destiny? This is how Simon and Garfunkel found immortality in silence, and how one mistake changed music forever. During the 1950s in Queens, New York, two curious and creative boys met in an elementary school classroom. They were Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel. Their friendship formed instantly, driven by shared interests and a mutual fascination with radio, singing, and playing guitar. In those childhood days, between games and songs, the seed of a musical connection was planted that would mark their lives forever. They discovered they could harmonize naturally, their voices blending together as if designed to complement each other. Two main genres dominated the music scene: American folk and emerging rock and roll. On one side, folk offered a balm of reflection, a search for poetry in the everyday. On the other, rock represented the roar of a restless generation, eager for change and rebellion. In this rich musical ecosystem, Simon and Garfunkel grew up, nourishing themselves from both worlds and learning to blend introspection with energy. After school, the boys devoted their time to their greatest passion. They spent hours exploring vinyl records, singing together, and admiring the Everly Brothers, who at that moment had two songs at the top of the charts: Bye Bye Love and Wake Up Little Susie. Their vocal harmonies and youthful style deeply impacted Simon and Garfunkel. Inspired by their idols, they decided to bet on becoming stars of popular music themselves. The two young boys began writing their own songs in Simon's basement, experimenting with different melodies and harmonies. They would spend entire afternoons perfecting their vocal blend, understanding instinctively that their voices together created something neither could achieve alone. Their parents encouraged this musical partnership, seeing the joy and dedication their sons brought to their craft. With afternoons dedicated to songwriting and the support of their parents, they recorded their first single, Hey Schoolgirl, at the legendary Sanders recording studio in Manhattan. During the recording, music promoter Sid Prosen discovered their talent and convinced them to join his independent label, Big Records. Thus was born the duo Tom and Jerry, a name that reflected their youthful and fresh spirit. Their single, Hey Schoolgirl, became an unexpected hit, reaching number 49 on the Billboard charts in 1957. They sold over 100,000 copies, earned significant money, and appeared on several television programs. For two young men from Queens, this was the beginning of a dream come true. However, after this success, Prosen decided to sign Paul Simon as a solo artist, setting the duo aside. This marked the end of Tom and Jerry and foreshadowed the tensions that would define the relationship between Simon and Garfunkel in the years to come. While Simon continued his solo career and collaborated with other artists, Garfunkel chose to step away from music temporarily to focus on his studies and attend university. For several years, their musical partnership seemed to be over forever. The split was painful for both young men, though neither would fully admit it at the time. They had tasted success together and now found themselves pursuing separate paths, each wondering if they had made the right choice. The question of whether they were better together or apart would haunt them for years to come.
People talking without speaking.
By 1963, public interest in folk music was surging across America. Simon and Garfunkel, aware of this opportunity, decided to reunite to create new songs and revive their dream of becoming popular music stars. They began performing in clubs, especially in Greenwich Village, a key location for the folk scene of the era. In those years, this New York neighborhood was the epicenter of the American folk renaissance, where artists like Bob Dylan and Joan Baez were redefining protest music. Revolutionary songs like Blowin' in the Wind and House of the Rising Sun were giving voice to an entire generation dissatisfied with the status quo. In that vibrant atmosphere, Simon and Garfunkel found the ideal stage to share their poetic and introspective lyrics. It was there that they caught the attention of Tom Wilson, an influential executive at Columbia Records. Wilson signed them, and this time they would be promoted under their real names, Simon and Garfunkel. The duo worked hard recording their acoustic debut album Wednesday Morning 3 a.m., which they released in 1964. However, the album did not achieve the expected success and failed to recover the investment. Devastated, the duo separated again. Simon moved to England, while Garfunkel returned to university. The failure cut deeply because this time they had believed in their artistic vision completely. They had poured their hearts into creating something meaningful and authentic, only to be met with indifference from the public. It seemed the world simply was not ready for what they had to offer. The turning point arrived in 1965, when Tom Wilson made a decision that would change everything. Recognizing the rise of folk rock and inspired by Bob Dylan's move to electric instruments, Wilson decided to transform the sound of silence. Without consulting Simon and Garfunkel, he added electric guitars, bass, and drums to the original acoustic recording and released it as a single. The result was spectacular. The song reached #1 on the United States charts in January 1966, marking the true beginning of the Simon and Garfunkel phenomenon. Although Simon was initially horrified by the transformation, feeling it betrayed his artistic vision, the impact was undeniable. He returned from England and reunited with Garfunkel to resume their musical career, this time with a #1 hit backing them. Columbia Records rushed to capitalize on the momentum. In record time, the label assembled a new album around that triumphant single, titled Sounds of Silence. The record included songs like I Am a Rock and Kathy's Song, in addition to the electric version of The Sound of Silence. This album captured national attention with its poems about miscommunication and loneliness amid a noisy society. Their delicate harmonies and reflective lyrics resonated deeply, turning Simon and Garfunkel into authentic spokespeople for a generation. What made the success even more remarkable was that it happened without their knowledge or participation. They had moved on with their lives, accepting failure, when suddenly radio stations across America were playing their song. The accidental nature of their breakthrough would forever color how they viewed their success and the music industry itself.
That was planted in my brain still remains.
With their newfound success, Simon and Garfunkel began recording more elaborate albums. In 1966, they released Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme, featuring the iconic Scarborough Fair, Canticle, the touring anthem Homeward Bound, and the carefree 59th Street Bridge song. They were exploring themes of love, maturity, and uncertainty with increasing sophistication. Their music found a new level of success when incorporated into the 1968 film The Graduate. Director Mike Nichols requested their music for the soundtrack, and Simon composed new songs, including the iconic Mrs. Robinson. The film and soundtrack were resounding successes, catapulting them to genuine cultural icon status. This momentum was reflected in their next album, Bookends, a conceptual masterpiece exploring the passage of time. Mrs. Robinson won the Grammy for Record of the Year in 1969. Their evolution culminated in their 1970 album, Bridge Over Troubled Water, widely considered their most musically ambitious work. The production was meticulous, with each instrument carefully placed and harmonies layered to perfection. It represented everything they had learned about songwriting and recording, distilled into one magnificent album that would become one of the best-selling records of all time. During these golden years, they seemed unstoppable, with each album more successful than the last. They toured the world, appeared on television, and became household names. Yet beneath the surface of their public success, cracks were forming in their partnership that would soon become impossible to ignore. As their fame grew to unprecedented heights, so did the tensions between them. Paul Simon, who composed most songs, was the creative brain behind the duo, while Art Garfunkel, with his unmatched voice, brought those creations to life. This dynamic sowed rivalries. Simon felt his effort was not always valued, while Garfunkel enjoyed the vocal spotlight but sometimes felt like merely an instrument for Simon's vision. During the recording of Bridge Over Troubled Water, those tensions reached their breaking point. Garfunkel was frequently absent from the studio pursuing his acting career, leaving Simon in charge of much of the work. Simon later admitted he regretted not singing the title track himself. The song became a symbol of their musical greatness, but also of the emotional fractures between them. The album contained the monumental Bridge Over Troubled Water, the epic The Boxer, the infectious Cecilia, and The Only Living Boy in New York, which Simon wrote while Art was in Mexico filming, reflecting his growing loneliness within the duo. After the album's publication, they officially separated.
I've come to talk with you again.
From 1970 onward, they took different paths. Simon built a prolific solo career exploring international rhythms, while Garfunkel focused on acting and his own musical projects. Throughout the 70s and 80s, their interactions were sporadic and marked by tension, though they reunited at key moments like the iconic Central Park concert in 1981, where over 500,000 people gathered. Yet the wounds remained. They were geniuses of folk rock whose songs defined an era, but also victims of the pressure that success generated. Their most emblematic songs continue to be essential parts of musical legacy, but behind the melodies hid a friendship broken by fame and egos. In the end, they became the stars they dreamed of being, though the price was the fragility of their relationship. What seemed like a simple mistake became the springboard to stardom, reminding us that genius often hides in unexpected moments. The irony was not lost on anyone who knew their story. Two childhood friends who harmonized perfectly in song could never find harmony in life. Their voices blended beautifully, but their visions for the future never aligned. The music they created together would outlive their friendship, becoming timeless while their relationship remained frozen in conflict. Success has a strange way of testing relationships. It can lift people to incredible heights, bound by shared dreams, yet expose cracks hidden beneath the surface. When fame or recognition arrive, egos grow and priorities shift, turning friendship into quiet rivalry. Creative partnerships walk a fine line between harmony and competition. The same spark that fuels brilliance can ignite jealousy. Have you ever had a friendship that couldn't survive when ambitions collided? Share your reflections in the comments below. Your story might resonate with more people than you think.
Of silence.